thoughts and feelings can like come through your body and express out your arm. And just imagining if there's any kind of like frustration, or on the other side, joy. Sometimes you're just like, oh, this is so amazing. I just want to create something beautiful, play the piano or whatever. Um, but our emotions can be expressed, like squeezed out of our body and onto the physical environment. And so it's just such an interesting process, the mind, the body, all linked up together. Thank you for allowing me to just roll and flow and not have to be perfect. Isn't that great when people just like allow us to just not have to be perfect? Takes all the pressure off. So anyway, color me beautiful. And this evening, ta-da, I freely and easily express myself in positive ways. And so I thought this would be a perfect time to talk about expressing our individuality, the way that we feel, how one person sings is not how another person sings, right? How one person does art is not how another person does art. And yet many, many, many forms of singing and art can be beautiful and resonate with us in different ways, and that we want to experience lots of different ways. I got inspired for our little coloring session and artwork tonight by one of you that is participating live in the challenge. One of you shared a drawing that had some unique coloring techniques. And I'm like, oh, so thank you, Melody, for inspiring. The technique I'm going to share with you is just, instead of using lines to color, we're going to color with symbols. And so, for example, I can take, let me show you on this petal right here. Maybe I want to color with hearts. That was an inspiration. Maybe I'm going to color this with hearts. I'm going to fill in the color with an outline of a heart. So when we look at it, it kind of is almost pointillistic, but really there's a little more detail. So I'll continue on with that in a minute. But then also, maybe we want to choose stars. And maybe I could color with stars and see how that gives a totally different feeling. But it's a fun texture and it still brings color. Do you see how that's kind of fun? Let's see. I'm going to just move my hands and bring this a little closer to the lens so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So, see the stars, see the hearts. Isn't that fun? If you would like to join me and try out this coloring technique, feel free. Or if you have a design of your own, that is also totally fine. And so I was like, ooh, what are lots of different symbols that we could do? And this one's kind of pointy, and this one has one point. So I'm like, if I'm going to do another pointy one, I want to like spread it out a little. So I thought maybe I could do some triangles. Pyramids, triangles. Call them what you like. They can be different angles. So anyway, that's kind of fun if you see the triangleness of that. And it just makes an interesting technique. See, I am coloring is a good distraction because a few minutes ago, transparency, I was not in the best mood. You know, I've just, every once in a while, I come into kind of like a weird patch, and I get to do that as much as I want because I'm a woman. We can have our prerogative. We can feel however we feel, and that is totally fine. And ironically, my husband just texted me, and this camera here is through my phone. And my husband just texted, all caps, yes, exclamation mark, as if he's listening to our conversation, where I just said, it's totally fine for me to have up and down mood swings. And he's like, yes. Pretty sure he's referring to something else, but I'm going to go ahead and take that win. Anyway, so the triangles are fun. And it's like, you know what? If you, excuse me, if you want to focus on something other than the funky mood that you may be in on any given day, coloring is a good break. I was like, oh, it's 9 p.m. I get to go be with my people and do some coloring. I particularly did like these swirls. Anyway, and so I got focused on a new activity, and I'm happy to report this activity of coloring is much more fun than having the blahs. That's what I call it. I don't do depression or anxiety, but I do occasionally get blahs. So that's my label that I choose for whatever that is. Isn't that fun? Every time I do these coloring, I'm like, oh, this is my new favorite one. It's so fun. And so the affirmation is, I freely and easily express myself in positive ways. So am I free to color whatever design I choose? Yes, and so are you. Permission granted if you needed any. And it can be as fun as I let it. I think I'm gonna do hash marks next. Can you see those? Okay, this is such like delicate little detail. Olive green hash marks. I never thought that I would color with olive green hash marks, and yet I am free to do so. Why? Because I decided that's what I wanted to do, and because I look at what I'm doing and I decide it is good and ain't hurting nobody. So why not? I'm gonna do check marks with the serious, like grown-up blue. I'm gonna do check marks, like check the box. Oh, something in my brain. If you're a checker offer, this literally changes your brain chemicals. Pretend you're like checking the box on the to-do list, and you just start to, like, it literally gives you feel-good chemicals and hormones in your blood by making these check marks. And it's like, ooh, super fun to color this one. Check it, check it, check it off, check it off. That was good. I think I'm gonna do the check marks again. I think I'm gonna do them up here. Check it off, check it off. Why? Because I am free to do so. Nobody can tell me how to color. If I choose this method of self-expression in this moment, well, good for me, right? I'm gonna do some figure eights, infinity symbols really. But you know what's awesome is it also kind of slightly looks like an L. Like if I draw an L, my middle name that used to be my last name for many years of my life has an L. So the infinity actually has been part of my life for a long time. Funny story. My parents have an adorable little love story, and my dad is quite the romantic, and he was in the Air Force for many years, 26 years. He had a career there, and they would send him on trips, TDY. If you are a military person, you'll be familiar with that term. Temporary duty, I think, is what it stands for. Anyway, so when he was gone, before the age of the internet, he would write letters on paper to my mom. So cute. And she wouldn't usually share them. I don't think they were meant to be shared with the kiddos. I was the kiddos then, but I did catch a glimpse of a note one time, and she didn't let me read what it said, but she showed me they had a special secret signature, and it was, they would sign 8. They wouldn't sign infinity, they would sign 8. But she kind of hinted that it meant infinity, like together forever. So cute. All right, I really like how these 8s have come together. One more right there. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Doesn't that make the funnest texture? It almost kind of looks like I'm looking under a microscope. Now, let's talk about experiencing self-expression in a positive way, because I'm sure you may be familiar with some negative ways to express yourself. Some people damage themselves physically, and so that's definitely not a positive mode of self-expression. And if you ever feel like that's making sense to you, please do reach out and get yourself some help. But less severe than that, we always have the stereotypical yelling at people you care about, having no patience, like swearing. Some people, I guess, might say that's a positive form of self-expression. At least you're not like throwing anything, maybe, hopefully, when you're swearing. There's lots of negative ways that we can self-express, and so hopefully you don't have many of those that come to mind, because hopefully your mind is so full of creative and positive ways to self-express. And so some of those might be art, like what we're doing now, coloring, music, any even physical dance is beautiful self-expression. I would love in the comments to hear if you have perspectives on healthy ways of self-expression. Sometimes even just the way you organize your home makes a statement about how you see yourself and how you see your surroundings. And so that's kind of fun. That's kind of a fun way to go, is to just see what your personality does when it shines through. If you had total control, what would you say with your actions in the world? Like, how would you manifest, essentially, is kind of, I guess, one of the words that people would use. I'm doing squares now. How would you express yourself? Because an inability to express yourself looks like I'm held down, and I'm confined, I'm constricted. And this affirmation is about feeling free. It is free, and it is easy to express myself in positive ways, which also implies that you have choices on how to express yourself. And indeed, coloring is a way that sometimes, sometimes we're not able to express ourselves in certain ways. Like, for example, if I said exactly how I feel about some people at certain times, that might damage relationships. So I don't feel free to say everything that's on my heart, nor is that necessarily appropriate. So sometimes I have to exercise self-restraint, and that can be appropriate. But when it comes to my art on a page, I'm able to, did you know that thoughts and feelings can like come through your body and express out your arm? And just imagining if there's any kind of like frustration, or on the other side, joy. Sometimes you're just like, oh, this is so amazing. I just want to create something beautiful, play the piano or whatever. But our emotions can be expressed, like squeezed out of our body and onto the physical environment. And so it's just such an interesting process. The mind, the body, all linked up together. And you are free, and it is easy for you to express yourself in positive ways. I work with my children sometimes. I've got 2 teenage boys still, and If I want them to not express themselves vocally, I don't want to hear it sometimes, how they don't think life is fair or whatever, don't like a decision I've made about how to run my home. And I don't want them to express their disagreement. I don't want them to feel free to do that because there's boundaries that I hold with them. And so I encourage them to express their disappointment, their frustration with a situation like that physically. So push-ups that I have had my boys drop and give me 20. Or like you're running a lap, you're going to go outside and you're run a lap around the block. And so there's many ways that we can express our emotions that do not cause damage. Now, I'm just going to show you. I'm having so much fun with this. Aren't these fun designs? What? I've never drawn little moons like that before. And a little, okay. Well, this is intricate and detailed. And so I feel like we've approached about the mark where time ends up running out. And so if your page is colored, feel free to run along to the rest of your day. And I am enjoying this process though. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on because I really like this detail coloring thing, which was new to me, again, inspired by someone here in the group, and see how it blesses lives when you express yourself freely and in a positive way. And it gives others inspiration and permission. And again, thank you, because if this person participating in the challenge had not freely just expressed herself, I would have not had the opportunity to also enjoy this process. And so where I would have missed out, I would have not gotten to enjoy something that I'm enjoying very much right now. All the different shapes, so many fun shapes. So I want you to see how freely being yourself is for the good of all. Let's see, what am I going to do? Let's do some more figure eights here. I really like figure eights. Now I could do something like shading. Oh, I almost did a backwards 8. That would be kind of funny, wouldn't it? If it really was a backwards 8, would anybody know? Sometimes when we mess up, we worry about like, everyone will know. Maybe nobody will even know. Maybe nobody will even notice. They're stressing out for nothing. Sometimes I'm in the gym and I'm like, okay, I gotta like have good posture and and have good form, do my exercise properly. In case anyone's watching, like, so what? I'm not looking to date anyone. I'm good there. I'm not trying to impress anybody else's personal trainer. Why do I care if my form is perfect? For my safety, obviously, but there's not much else I need to really worry about. So let's not get caught up in that. I'm going to do more of the hash marks because I also like these hashtags. I'm going to call them hashtags. They used to be called pound signs. Does anybody remember? Comment, hashtag, comment, pound sign. If you remember this weird button that we hardly used to ever use on the phone. Remember? And everybody's like, what is this button even for? Why does this even exist? No one ever uses the pound sign. It's pretty much worthless. I don't even know why we have it. I think they just needed like to fill in a row of buttons on the phone. And they're like, we're not using this button. Should we let's just stick something on it. And somebody's like, tic-tac-toe. And they're like, yes, that. Does anybody know the origin? That would be interesting to know. Okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to do some, I'm going to do some lightnings. I'm going to do some lightnings. Lightning. Okay, and I think I'm also doing my lightnings backwards. How do you do a lightning? I think it goes this way. There we go. It's kind of like an N, but an N. I'm having coordination issues with lightnings. That is so funny. There we go. Okay, there we go. I can just decide that it doesn't have to be perfect. Oh man, I thought it was going to be better than that though. There we go. I had it backwards. Okay, and maybe another. There we go. Okay. Man, it's funny how it goes. Well, thank you for sharing some bonus time. And I want you to feel free to do those pieces of self-expression for yourself as well. Physically, really, expression is allowing emotion to flow through and out of the body. Our body does something because our emotions do something. And so it really is a very beautiful concept to think about. Our bodies are so wonderful and useful, and they are such a blessing. And sometimes it's easy to get mad at bodies when they don't cooperate with the things that we desire that they should do. But, you know, we still gotta love them because they're just way more awesome than they are not awesome. Okay, the check marks are very satisfying, so I'm gonna run with a few more of those. Okay, I know that's very left brain logic of me, but still. I think I'm gonna do a circle here, and then I think I'm gonna do another circle inside of a circle. Maybe I'll just do a Scooby-Doo. Do you remember the Scooby-Doos? Okay, and I'm running out of symbols. I think I'm going to do some more asterisks. I did like those asterisks also. I tried to look at my keyboard for some inspiration. I'm finding all kinds of inspirations that I had not noticed before this coloring challenge. I'm finding ideas for coloring, for self-expression in general as I go through my day. Isn't it fun how the brain does when you turn it onto a specific path? Okay, now I'm just like, I feel like I'm kind of rambling, but if you're just chilling, I have some dim lights. I feel like I have a somewhat soothing voice. So maybe I can lull you. Maybe we'll just proceed into, instead of a conversation, just a little bit of an affirmation. I'll just kind of repeat, I freely and easily express myself in positive ways. And we can emphasize different parts of that, can't we? I freely and easily express myself in positive ways. I freely and easily express myself in positive ways. I freely and easily express myself in positive ways. I freely and easily express myself in positive ways. I freely and easily express myself in positive ways. I freely and easily express myself in positive ways, plural. I have lots of things that I can draw on that make me feel good, that release tension of emotion from my body. I know I can trust myself to handle emotions responsibly and well. I can trust myself to protect things that are important, relationships that are important. I can enjoy the business of being me. I can enjoy setting goals and working towards them. And often self-expression becomes a joy, a talent, something that you look forward to, something that you may even become known for, like that art or that singing voice. Even a perspective, maybe you're a speaker or an orator. Maybe you express yourself in an entirely different way. Again, I'm excited to read some comments and to see the variety of self-expression. I'm just going to do this one lines so we can wrap up a lovely moment of coloring together. Well, have a look-see, why don't you? Look at the fun details. Shouldn't that come together nicely? So fun. So fun to freely and easily express myself in a positive way. Whether your day was positive or not, your art can be. And I do feel better than when I started. So thank you for being a part of that. Have a lovely rest of your evening. Again, as always, you are infinite. Good night.